The purpose of this presentation is to provide an overview for the Planning for Inquiry in Language Arts resource. This presentation highlights key features of the resource to support teachers in using it to plan for instruction and assessment in relation to inquiry-based learning in support of the renewed Language Arts 7 and 8 curricula. The overview provides teachers with an introduction to how the workshop framework can be used to support inquiry-based learning. It introduces structured inquiry as an approach recommended for teachers and students who are new to inquiry-based learning and includes a four-step process for planning an inquiry. Teachers should note that many methods they are familiar with, such as the backwards design model, align well with planning an inquiry unit. The introduction sets the context for structured inquiry in relation to the sample developed in the resource. It describes how the inquiry is grounded in the outcome. Learners will create oral, written, and visual communication forms for a range of audience and purposes and is framed by a central inquiry question and focus questions. It also includes a summary of the sample inquiry for teachers' reference. The Planning a Language Arts Inquiry section provides a table that illustrates the first three steps in planning an inquiry. It outlines the relationship between the outcome and indicators, the inquiry questions, sample learning experiences, and suggested assessments. The table indicates which indicators have been developed into sample learning experiences in relation to the focus questions. Teachers should note that over the course of the inquiry, learners will create oral, written, and visual communication forms for a range of audiences and purposes 3 times in order to provide multiple opportunities for them to develop their skills and communicate their learning through a range of assessment opportunities. This sample illustrates how teachers can plan to support learners with different language modes, literacy strategies, and communication forms by providing multiple opportunities to create communication forms. It also models how teachers might pair indicators and guiding questions to best meet students' learning needs as they develop their skills and language processes over time. For example, when students first investigate how ideas are developed, they engage in speaking and listening while drawing on their own experience and the ideas of others before engaging in the research process. The next time learners investigate how ideas can be developed, they engage in listening, reading, and viewing strategies as they develop ideas using a range of mentor texts before engaging in the writing process. The resource includes several sample learning experiences developed to be responsive and engage all learners. Each of the learning experiences described begins with a focus question and a brief introduction that includes the indicator being addressed and the context for learning. Skill components were used to design the learning experiences. For example, if the skill being introduced is investigate, the learning experience begins with asking questions. A full list of grade-specific skill definitions can be found on the Language Arts at-a-glance documents. The learning experiences are organized using a workshop framework and includes time to teach, time to practice, and time to reflect and share. Over the course of the inquiry, the learning experiences engage students in all 6 language processes: speaking, listening, reading, viewing, writing, and representing. Learning experiences also include guiding questions, suggestions for formative assessments, and conclude with considerations for moving forward with planning. Each learning experience includes 1 to 2 suggested formative assessment opportunities in relation to observations, conversations, and products. Over the course of the inquiry, examples are given of self, peer, and teacher assessments. Each formative assessment opportunity is designed to include what evidence of learning is being gathered in relation to the indicator, a try this, which provides one suggestion of how evidence could be gathered, and an assessment for learning section that gives teachers questions to consider when using evidence to provide feedback and to plan next steps for instruction. The questions in this section were developed from the Teaching and Learning Within COVID-19 Protocols PETA 12 document, which is linked as an appendix at the end of the resource and provides more detailed information on the workshop framework. This resource highlights 3 opportunities to return to the central inquiry question as learners create oral, written, and visual communication forums for their audience and purpose. These sections include considerations for teachers in planning their assessments in order to ensure that assessments are valid, transparent, and supported. Included here as well are some sample assessments of learning. The assessments suggested offer opportunities for student voice and choice. However, it is important for teachers to note that explicit instruction, time for students to practice, and teacher feedback in the development of work is essential in supporting students to be successful with the communication forms they have chosen. This inquiry was designed to provide teachers with one approach to planning an inquiry that is responsive to all students. Teachers can easily explore different central inquiry and focus questions, resources, or learning experience in relation to their students' learning needs. This sample inquiry could be used as the first inquiry of the year as teachers are coming to know their students' interests, experiences, and questions, or it could be used later in the year so that grade 7s can support grade 6s as they prepare to transition to grade 7. Teachers will see suggestions where connections to other language arts outcomes can be made. This inquiry can also be adapted for use in English Language Arts 8. The model used to support inquiry in this example is the same design that can be found in the Interlink series developed to support the Renewed Social Studies 7 and 8 in order to facilitate cross-curricular opportunities for planning. For at-a-glance documents and curriculum guides, please visit curriculum.novascotia.ca.